Hi there, this is Matt and Ben from Digital Spy, and we're here to talk about why Super Smash Bros. Is our game of 2014. So if you're not familiar with Smash Bros, this is a Nintendo mascot brawler where it's part party game, part fighter, where Mario versus Link versus Donkey Kong, Pikachu, Samus, Metroid. Yeah, every Nintendo game kind of comes from every character from Nintendo games come together and just brawl and fight, and it's ridiculous fun. I think every time it's like a really big multiplayer favorite, and it always excels at being kind of very accessible and very kind of like in depth, and I think that's what is the same here. And what it's kind of like the game that kind of many people who own Wii U's have kind of been asking for. I think it's a great multiplayer game because anyone can pick it up and play it. I think anyone can grab a controller and just like mash a few buttons, just have fun with their favorite characters. But also there's an incredible amount of depth in like each of these characters' move sets. Multiple layers, like there's different kind of modes you can kind of like riff off, there's different like stages that have different effects and you can really kind of do strategies off. And that's always been the case with Smash Bros, and I think they're very much the same here. I think why that kind of is enhanced more is because of its massive roster, like a good roster of like almost 50 characters. They
pretty much love everything, haven't they?
Yeah, we discussed earlier, we can't think of a character that they actually could have put in there that they haven't.
I think what's also impressive, it's not just, they've put so many different characters in, but also they all play differently as well.
Yes.
Like, I mean, there are some that are obviously, naturally going to be quite similar to each other, but there's plenty of variety, and each one has their own like different strategies and different movesets, stuff like that. And yet at the same time, like you say, they're still all accessible.
Yeah.
It's still really simple to play them, even though maybe you haven't got a grasp of how to best utilize them, but it's still fun to mess around with them.
Yeah, yeah. So the characters are absolutely the star of the show, and it's got like that really great core that relies on those characters, and I think that's why it's like a great fighting game to start with. But also, there's just in the Wii U and the 3DS editions, there's just so much stuff. Like if you go through the menus, there's like menus within menus. It just keeps going on and on. All these different there's single player stuff. There's like the challenge mode that people are familiar with. There's like an 8-player mode, which is just
chaotic,
absolute chaos. There's like a new board game mode where people can kind of like jump on a board and like zip around as little kind of like tokens. Amiibos debuted with the Wii U version. You can customize characters, so as well as the moves that are there, you can kind of like unlock extra moves. So you can make your own kind of like, I don't know, make your own villager from Animal Crossing and stuff like that. And there's so much there that kind of, you keep playing it, you keep unlocking more stuff, you keep seeing new things. It's a game that kind of really begs to just keep being played and played and played. And when that core is so good, you really don't mind doing that, or you're really just happy to, you just want to keep going.
Yeah.
Also multiplayer online stuff as well, really well done.
I think
it's a really, really good complete package.
Yeah, I think the other thing that it really excels in is that it's just such a technical achievement. I mean, like you see so many like games released in the past few years. A lot of AAA games, like a lot of massive like big budget ones where it's kind of broken at launch. Online maybe the servers have messed up, whatever, or like there's a lot of bugs, or But Nintendo, they always deliver. It's always 60 frames per second. It's silky smooth. It looks fantastic, brilliant in HD. Like barely any kind of like bugs or noticeable bugs. It's just the polished products.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Yeah. Just Nintendo delivers, and I think people like in the last kind of 18 months have kind of come back around on Nintendo, where people used to say, well, they're releasing kind of the same, they're releasing a Mario game again, they're releasing a Zelda game again. It's the same games time and time again. But when they're always this good, when they're always like this generous in their content, when they're always like playing this well and they run so well, like you can't really argue with that. It's just kind of like a bit of a no-brainer that they kind of have done so well. And yeah, there's 2 other games in our top 5 as well, which is probably worth discussing.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 2, which is an amazing sequel, and also Mario Kart 8, which I think in many ways is like Smash Bros. In the sense that like it's kind of taken those core tenets and really pushed them, like I think probably some of the best tracks in the series as a whole.
Yeah.
Just looks great. Has some of my favourite moments, like the Luigi death stare, like the fact that they've added features like that kind of make those things happen. A really, really great entry.
Best Mario Kart in a long, long time.
In a long time, yeah, I think. So there's a great kind of year for the Wii U in general. And then other games in our top 5. There's Destiny, which is I think has its detractors, and I think it has its kind of negative points, and I think rightly so, and I agree. That it's not quite perfect or far from it, but I think what is there is like it's an exceptional shooter. It kind of just looks gorgeous. It's so well polished and put together. It's a really, really great game in that regard.
It's so easy to sink hours and hours and hours into it without realizing it. It's really difficult to stop playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it takes kind of like the best elements of MMOs and makes you kind of like want to keep going back and playing it. It's a game I've played since launch, and I'll probably keep playing it well into 2015. I think at this rate, I'm having a ton of fun with it. Even if it isn't again like a perfect game by any shot, but you know, it's I think it's a really really good one, and it deserves top 5. And also Dark Souls 2. Which I think is an excellent game. I think it suffers a little bit just because it isn't quite as good as the first one. You know, you kind of like, which is our kind of game of the generation. I think we're kind of fans of it, and
they've set a really high bar. In the first
place. I think that's the problem. Yeah, and I think there's like the things that they've done that kind of, I think as an adventure as a whole, it doesn't quite flow as well as the original game. I don't think it kind of like is structurally as tight, but it's still like better than 90% of the games out there, or 95% of the games. It's like it's a really pure Dark Souls game. It really does play great. It really just it eventually can really sink your teeth into, and it's excellent. Really great game. So yeah, that's kind of our top 5. That's yeah, Mario Kart, Bayonetta, Destiny,
Smash Bros.
The game of the year, and Dark Souls 2. Yeah,
really good top 5.
Yeah, when we're working out our kind of game of the year list, because we do like a 20 countdown, we very quickly arrived at those 5 as like, right, that's our 5 best games, and we'll work on the rest now. But yeah, that was a very comfortable 5, and I think yeah, it's been a really great year, especially for Wii U. And I think rightly so. Yeah, so that's it. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, game of the year.